Alright, here we go. How you doing, guys, tonight? Hope you guys are doing tonight. You know what this is, the Mike O'Brien Show. Bringing it here you live for you guys. You know how it is. How you
How we
guys all
doing,
doing?
guys?
This is
How we
Brian.
doing?
Can you guys see Brian? Hopefully you guys can all see Brian. Hold on a second. Pull him. There you go. Hold on. There we go. We should be good now. And you know, we started off as usual. This is the Mike O'Brien Show. Brian, you can do the intro if you want. Do it up, buddy.
How we doing tonight, guys? This is the Mike and Brian Show. We want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. We are live every night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here to bring you hot sports takes, mostly Bills takes. We're a Bills show. We're here for the fans. We're here for you. We're here to bring it on, baby. Mike and Brian.
Let's get it, boy. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it started, man. Honestly, like it's like, you know, the COVID-19 definitely still affecting probably us and many people that are watching the stream right now. It's definitely a rough time, man. Right now, I mean, honestly, we have been seeing some improvement though. You have been seeing that states are maybe starting to reopen, which is a good thing
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
sports and everything like that. I mean,
Yep.
what's your take on that? What's your take on everything starting to reopen?
I think it's good. I do think there still needs to be hesitation with everything. Um, a lot of players talk and say, yes, they think about their families and they think about the families of the loved ones that work for those teams and those franchises. And nobody wants to see anyone get sick, of course, but these athletes have recognized that they are prime, healthy, young individuals. So they have a very slim, if not zero, death rate with the COVID 19. So they feel as if they're not as affected as the elderly community. So um, I I can agree with a lot of their stances. As you said, I heard that 22 out of the 30 NBA teams have opened their facilities for teams to come and practice
Yes,
individual workouts,
that's
obviously with
huge. That's huge,
safe
man.
social distancing. Yeah, but I just want to get your take on this. Now? What do you think now? If the NFL was to do this, say like Florida, for example, is one of these states that's opening up. That's maybe opening up to the MLB to host the league, but there's also NFL teams that reside in Florida. One of them being in the Bills division, Miami.
Yep.
Now, what if Miami gets the chance? Players who are nursing injuries or coming back or new to the team, new to the offense, they had kind of get that step ahead, if their facilities open up. Up here in Western New York, Governor Cuomo has talked June 15th, at least he's extended this to. So
Okay. Okay. I mean,
I
honestly,
think,
man, my opinion on that, I would have to say, I think that if that's gonna happen, the NFL is gonna have to either allow teams to go to states that are open, which I have
mhm,
actually heard that Josh Allen and other people have been visiting Florida to work out, which is that's fair game. Like, I mean, if they can get there, they can arrange a travel to get there. That's fair game. But
mhm,
my personal opinion on it, man, I just don't think that it's fair to let teams, start training. If they're gonna do full team training workouts without every other
it,
team in the 32 teams being able to have a fair advantage of doing the same thing at the same time.
yeah, absolutely. It's just like what you said last week about uh, home teams only allowing season ticket holders and the disadvantage that the away team would have. That's that same type of thing. These teams that already have the advantage to get together in the facilities and start to go over the playbook and the 2020 game plan, they get a head start, just like if they only were allowed to Bills fans in home games and Miami fans in Miami home games. It would be an advantage.
No, and exactly what I said. Like that's like I said, if they are going to start the season in any shape or form, they need to make it fair game for everyone in every way they do it. So like I said, the season ticket thing, that's huge. If they're gonna do that, then they gotta consistently do that throughout the whole year. They can't change it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Duh. No matter what, then it really is every road game you truly are at a disadvantage. And like they say, because there are no international games on the schedule this year, so every team will play 8 home games and 8 away games. So I mean, everyone still has the same advantages and disadvantages as other teams.
Okay, let's talk about this. I mean, like honestly, bro, like sports that are gonna be coming back soon. Like that's gonna be a huge. Like what sport? Like I mean, people are saying that it might only be the NBA. And they're saying the MLB. I've been hearing things that the NHL might not even bring a season back, which is, I mean, kind of unfortunate. It's my second favorite sport, but I mean, it's definitely good to hear that, like you said in the beginning of the show, that you said that NBA teams are starting to practice again. I have heard that there's only a minimum amount of players allowed at the time. I'm not really sure the amount of players that are allowed, but like I said, it's just what do you think about sports that are going to be coming back? Like, what sports do you think will be coming back sooner than we think?
Well, unfortunately, we've already seen some sports come back. Tonight is the third UFC card in eight
Yes.
days.
UFC
So
is definitely that. Well,
good.
we all knew the UFC was going to be the first fight. I think we talked about that last week. How Dana White has
Yep,
just hasn't really honestly. They were kind of fighting during the COVID thing. They just stopped it. They were actually the last sport to stop their live events.
exactly. And then they were the first to pick it back up. So, and again, like we just said, the third event in 8 days is tonight. So they're really killing it out there. But other sports you're going to see coming back. June 11th, they're going to have the first official PGA tournament that's going to count for FedEx standing points and stuff like that. A lot of the high name golfers have said that they will be attending. So look for people like Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods and stuff. It's not just going to be a whole bunch of no name guys who need a paycheck, you know. They want to get back to golfing just as much as all other athletes want to get back to their sport. Um, and NASCAR is happening this weekend. They're doing a live race actually on the track. They started with the simulation
May
series where
17th, right? They're May 17th, which is this weekend. Yeah, you're actually
yeah,
yeah. That
yep,
I just seen that on my notes. Yeah, that's actually yeah, honestly NASCAR is a good sport that like a lot of people couldn't watch and
yeah,
probably maybe should get into it
absolutely.
if they're missing out on some activity in sports and stuff like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. NASCAR has a lot to offer. It's a great sport to watch. And it's really cool. I don't know if everyone's been tapped into it and whatnot, but they've gone from the virtual, all the drivers, that race behind these cars every Sunday and Saturday as these big racetracks were doing virtual racing and racing against each other. So they've still been hypothetically getting behind the wheel. But the race that they're running on Sunday, they're not doing any trial or practice runs, so no race for pole position or anything.
So how are they going
Uh,
to determine that? Do you have any idea how
I,
they're going to determine that? Like that's
I
kind of roll a
I
dice
don't know.
or you pick a number and hopefully you get the best one. Like I mean,
My guess is probably they'll go by standings where they are right now. That could be the only thing
okay,
that
and
would
they were
make
doing
sense.
standings off the online thing, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So NASCAR keeps standings obviously throughout the whole year. NASCAR, unlike other sports, as much as it snows here in Buffalo and stuff, NASCAR they race pretty much 10 months out of the year. They're only
Yeah,
off
they.
for
I don't,
January and February.
Yep,
That's it.
yep. They're actually
So,
one of the long. They are one of the biggest sports like that go for a really long time, and people don't really
oh
expect.
yeah,
Like people say, oh, all you do is drive a car. Like you are so tired through NASCAR. It's honestly like a very like
do you think
tiring
you
sport.
could sit in a car going 250 miles per hour for
No,
3 hours
no.
at a
I mean,
time?
I know I could drive. I know I could do it for a little bit, but not for that long. That's the thing. You have to be so used to it.
Hmm.
I mean, if we're talking about another sport coming back, man, honestly, and I mean, I'm pretty excited about it. I know it's going to be a little farther out in the, but like I said, Kentucky Derby, man, that's one thing that I've missed, man. I mean, I love the Preakness, I love the Kentucky Derby, I love the Belmont. We both talked about it in previous episodes. We're both betters. I love betting on that kind of thing.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a great thing. You can win some money on it. I mean, that's one thing that I'm really excited to be seeing it coming back. And I mean, the one thing like I said that I'm really just sad about that I don't think is going to happen in the NHL, man. That's one thing that I think we need to discuss here. Like, is that going to be something that like people are saying if it comes back, is it worth it for? Is it going to be like a tainted like like how do you feel about that?
yeah. Well, unfortunately, as the days on the calendar move on, we are running out of time. The NHL preseason does normally start in September. Training camp starts in September for hockey. It's not like basketball that doesn't start until October, end of October. They usually start about the same time football does, about second week of football. They're getting together for hockey training camp. So yeah, unfortunately, if they don't get things rolling here, they're running out of calendar weeks in the year, and I think unfortunately we may see a not next or asterisks, but just no 2019 Stanley Cup champion. So, and that's just how it has to be.
Man,
Or
that's
2020
yeah,
Stanley Cup
that's
champion. I'm
unfortunate to
sorry.
hear, man. That's definitely unfortunate. I think me and you both love the NHL, and that's one of like I said, one of our favorite sports. But it's
Definitely,
just
definitely.
unfortunate. What about the MLB, man? I mean, I think that's definitely one league that we're gonna probably see back sooner than any other
Yeah,
league. I mean, I'm happy about that. I love the MLB. I think that I think it's gonna honestly be sooner than we think. I think they're gonna start sometime in June.
yeah.
I
No,
honestly
no,
do.
no. I think they do will as well, and I know they've talked about the 82 season or 82 game season that they're going to put in base, which is about half of the regular season games. Um, that way, they can still, make some profit, and they've talked about a 30% salary cut for the players because of what has gone on. And then the profit share between the players and the ownership would be 50-50 for the season. Now, there's been a lot of talk in the media of people's name like Blake Snell popping up about his comments about saying he's not playing unless he gets his quote unquote. Now, some will say that's very greedy because he makes millions of dollars, but he's just like anyone else who wouldn't want to go to their job if it wasn't safe. But I wonder, what do you think? You think there's a lot of other players in clubhouses like him that feel the same way?
Yeah,
That if they're
I
not going to
have,
get their
yeah.
full money, their full paycheck, they don't want to play?
Yeah, I mean, I have, seen a couple people, saying something on social media and, talking about this and that, and it's just like, I agree with them. I mean, I cannot disagree with them, and like that's just, it's their money, it's their right for that. I mean, if they don't feel safe, and they're not even, they're supposedly not even getting like all these like they're supposedly all these players like all these big top guys that got paid their full guaranteed money, and then all the guys in the bottom of the league, it's just like, how is that fair to them that they're not really getting any money. Like it's like these dudes work just as hard as any of these other guys or any of these top
Yeah,
guys, and
agreed.
like it's like I honestly 100% agree with what all these players are saying and what you guys said. I mean, I can't believe that they are even like allowing these players to not get their money they deserve. Isn't it
Yeah,
guaranteed money?
yeah. That's the thing about baseball contracts, guaranteed money. That's the thing behind it. So, yeah, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of smoke behind it, and I guess we're just gonna have to wait to see what happens. I mean, obviously you can't play baseball with no product on the field. So,
Yep.
but Blake Snell is one person who has spoken up. Like I said, who knows how many people inside clubhouses feel the same way he does? But only time will tell. Once they approach,
There
the
might not be many,
announcer
man.
date
There
or
might
when
not
they're
be that
coming
many as
back.
you think. There might not
Yeah,
be as many as you think, dude.
no,
Maybe it's
you're right.
just him. Maybe it's only a half the people. Maybe it's 20. Like what? Okay, let me ask. I'll give me a number. How many? Give me a percentage of how many in the league you think the same way as him.
15.
15. I was gonna say at least. I'm gonna say 30%.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll figure out more. I mean, like I said, if the MLB can set a calendar, like a date on the calendar of when spring training and that stuff will resume and then regular season, I think you'll start to hear a little bit more uproar and whatnot. And maybe if people do have the same stance as Blake Snell, maybe that's when you'll hear about it, is once they figure out when they have to play.
No, I 100% agree with you. I definitely agree. I mean, honestly, it's like you said, it's pretty much a waiting game at this point. And honestly, I mean, we could sit here and predict this all day, and try to see when it's gonna come back. I mean, honestly, like I said, we're just gonna have to wait and see what really happens when these leagues do come back, and when the owners and the players all feel that they're safe to come back and be together and have fans there, and that's the key thing too, man. They want to come back. They want to come back with fans. That's the whole thing.
That's like we talked about in the episode before. It's a huge part of the game. The integrity of the fans. The fans make up sports. There would be no sports without fans. So
Definitely,
it's
man. Definitely.
it's a huge part. But again, I just want to take the time to say this is the Mike and Brian show. I just want to thank everyone for joining in and giving us a view. Go ahead and hit that like, hit that share button. Tell everyone you know to give us a watch. We're here to give you our hot Bills takes, our hot sports takes, all this crazy COVID-19 around the world that's suppressing everyone's lives and holding back our sports that we love so much. I am Brian. He is Mike. We're live with you every night at 7 p.m. Thanks for sticking with us.
Saturday night.
Saturday night. So we're gonna move on to the next topic here. Our big thing in the news right now that everyone's been tuning into on Sunday nights is The Last Dance, the documentary on the 1998 Chicago Bulls. Mike, you want to give me a little something how you feel about this? How you been tuning in?
Yeah, I mean, I have been tuning in a little bit. I honestly like I don't usually watch the episodes live. I definitely tend to watch them a little later. I definitely like that. I like to see what people say about them. I'll read up a little bit about it and then I'll watch it myself to get my own opinion on it. I mean, honestly, man, it's honestly been a great I mean, I know we didn't really experience the Jordan, like we really didn't. Like we were in, but dude, like honestly, I feel like we all when I grew up, man, I wanted to be like MJ if I was playing basketball and stuff like that, man. It's just like the crazy the feelings that you got and stuff like that, man. And honestly, man, like if we I feel like we need to just summarize this whole thing for everybody, man. It was just it's been such a great episode. It's like all these things that like happening in there and stuff, man. It's just like it's just like it just gives me chills, honestly, watching it sometimes, man. I mean, you probably do too. I know you probably get some chills, and maybe, you probably get some tears in there and stuff in certain parts, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy to think, that 22 years ago was when they won that final championship, the Chicago Bulls. That's a long time ago. 22 years is 2 decades long of time. That's a lot of time to pass, and you know, all this documentation and all this video that they have, this was all recorded, obviously, during the 1998 season, and they pulled footage, of course, from the younger years and the NBA's footage of Jordan that they have and whatnot. But the whole reason why this whole thing never took off and why it took so long was Michael Jordan owns the right to all the documented footage from
yes, and honestly, I did not know. Not a lot of people knew that, man. He honestly didn't even want to, like, they were trying to do something in 2006 where they had a couple groundworks going and stuff like that, and then, like I said, the main reason that they didn't get anything going was because Jordan would not give up the rights to the thing, and he finally honestly realized that people need to see this, and that's why it finally did come out. And honestly, what I think it took? I think it took Kobe's death. I really do. I truthfully, honestly think that's a part of it. Okay. I really do. I mean, it's kind of weird to say, but I just think that he thought, like, hey, man, like, what if I don't, give this up to somebody, and when maybe someday I do, like, suddenly something that happens, and
absolutely.
he owns the rights of it, so he gave the rights up, and I think that's one of the main reasons.
I had heard a rumor that Jordan was sparked to finally get it going off the ground after he had seen LeBron James say that after Cleveland came back and beat the 73 win Warriors, and he declared himself as the greatest player of all time. Apparently there's a rumor that the whole thing behind LeBron winning it for Cleveland and sparking him being the GOAT debate really fueled Michael, because a lot of the documentary really shows his fiery, his intensity, and his competitiveness as a person. A lot of people didn't like his competitiveness. A lot of his teammates couldn't handle his competitiveness, but he was a winner, and he's one of the greatest winners of all time. And they allowed this film crew, this crazy, unprecedented accent, into the locker room. They filmed and documented all this crazy stuff, all the stuff that was going on during the season. Before the season has even started, general manager of the Bulls, Jerry Krause, tells Phil Jackson, who has won him 5 titles, 3 of them in a row in 91, 92, and 93, tells him that I don't care if you win 82 games in a row. This is your last season coaching the Bulls.
That's crazy. Isn't that crazy, dude? Like this, how do you go to a coach like Phil Jackson?
Feel about that?
Like, okay, yeah, honestly, like, how do you go to a coach like Phil Jackson and you tell this man, oh, it doesn't matter, whatever you do this year, you're gone either way. Like, bro, this dude just won you a championship, and like, bro, like, I don't know what you were what are you thinking, dude? Like,
he just won 2 championships in a row.
Yeah, and honestly, man, maybe
The big rumor behind the whole thing was that Kraus and the management in the '98 season they had planned to start a rebuild. They had no thoughts of a
well,
three-peat
yeah, because
or
that's
another
because
championship.
Michael Jordan didn't he hurt he broke his leg, not right, something, he broke his
His
ankle.
ankle.
Yeah, he broke
Yep,
his ankle, and
yep.
that's definitely a part of it. I mean, not like, bro, he comes back, they let him go play with a college team during those years. That's so like weird. They let him go play like two
Hmm.
1v1s, 2v2s, and then honestly 5v5s, and eventually he
Yeah, I
comes
thought that was weird
he
too.
yeah he comes back, and then they're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna tank. And then like they literally almost sat him out of the they sat him almost didn't make the playoffs, sit him out of a game against the Pacers, just so they pretty much lose where they could win and make. And I don't think they made the playoffs either, did they? Or I think they did. Maybe I'm not. I think they did, right?
In '98?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yes, they won
yeah.
championship in '98.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. That's what I'm
and
saying,
they
and it's just
also
dumb, just dumb. They almost didn't. They literally almost didn't have him win or make the championship or anything like that or get there because they literally said, "Oh, we're gonna tank and we want to rebuild." Like
yeah.
what? You're winning championships and you're trying to rebuild. Like what? Like what? It just made no sense.
When I was watching that, I just thought from a Bills standpoint, like, what if we had just won? What if Marv had just won us 3 Super Bowls or 4 Super Bowls, and Ralph said to him, "I don't care if you go 17-0. This is your last
Last
season as
season,
the
like
Bills coach."
what? Hell no! I mean,
What?
no,
Like, you
hell
know what I
no.
mean? Like, that's just what I thought of. I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Like, what is this man? Like, I almost kind of thought maybe it was a tactic by Jerry Krause, to light a fire underneath his team.
Me,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
there's a lot of jokes, especially in the first 2 episodes that they aired on, I believe it was April 19th. The first 2 episodes aired. Um, there's a lot in the first 2 episodes. There's a lot of trash talking and belittling of Jerry Krause. The players on the Bulls team, they didn't respect Jerry Krause or anything. They would call him fat and lazy and tell him to sit down and stop getting excited. They almost treated him like the brother they didn't like. You know what I mean?
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I know that is. Yeah. It's just like honestly, bro. Like it's crazy. Like honestly, that you just all the accomplishments that Jordan has gotten in this things, and he comes to a team that they honestly, it's a little weird that they call them the cocaine crisis, the
Yeah.
traveling cocaine crisis. This team was that bad. They were like they all did this bad stuff. He said he comes in and he's he feels like he's an outlier, and then he just like he shows him he took over the team. He literally showed him in one season the reason why they took him and why he's the leader of the team. He has
Yep.
leadership, and it's amazing, man. It's amazing the things that like Jordan done. His rookie year, he wins rookie of the year. He's on Sports Illustrated. Like
Yeah.
it's just amazing, man.
Yeah, and the thing is Michael Jordan wouldn't obviously be who he was without his right hand man, Scottie Pippen. And they
Right
used
there, right there. You go right into. There you go, buddy. Go right into it.
they used episode 2 to highlight Scottie Pippen a lot. They gave him some airtime there on the second episode. Now, a lot of people don't know. I mean, maybe most basketball fans do, but Scottie Pippen doesn't get the respect throughout the NBA culture that he should. Second in scoring, second in minutes, second in assists, second in steals, third in rebounds, all those for the Bulls. The only person he's behind, Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman for rebounds. That's just something amazing right there. As much as he was in Michael Jordan's shadow, he was still putting up minutes, putting up points, rebounds, steals, all NBA player. Uh, he's just completely underappreciated. So underappreciated that the Bulls gave him a 7-year. Now, ready for this, people? $18 million
And
contract.
let me just add.
Not
Let me just
not
add something.
18 a
You
year.
here. 18
Eight,
million. And let me just
just
add
like
something onto
something.
that for you, Brian. He was the 122nd highest played player in the NBA at the time. Did you just hear what I said, guys? Scottie
Yeah,
Pippen, the 122nd highest paid player in the NBA at that time.
yeah, just great. It's
It's just
insane.
like boom, like it just blows me. Like honestly, me and Brian were having a conversation before the show. Like honestly, just like how did they do this to this man? Like I just want to hear you. I want to hear your. Let's hear the show. Like, give me what you thought about it, man. Like, give me your. Like, what?
You
Why?
know,
It's just crazy.
it's almost from watching the documentary. Scottie Pippen is he's almost kind of like a pushover type, you know. He accepted what the Bulls gave him, you know. He never put his own foot down, you know. Not until Michael was gone and Michael was playing baseball and he was still leading the Bulls into the playoffs did he really finally realize, you know, holy crud, these guys treat me like crap and they've been paying me dirt and I've been making them hundreds of millions of dollars winning championships with Michael Jordan. I really might need to get out of here. And then there were a lot of trade rumors and trade speculations and coming into the 1998 season with Scottie Pippen. So many trade rumors and swirling around and whatnot that Scottie totally neglected a foot injury that he had all the way up until the regular season, and he didn't play a game until January of the 1998 season.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's honestly like, bro, it's just like Scottie Pippen, probably second best Bulls player ever in the history. Like I said, he was probably so undermined by Michael Jordan. Like he just didn't like really get the spotlight that he really deserved. Like I just honestly feel bad for the man. And then like I said, he just gets an unfortunate contract for 7 years that literally 2-3 years later they started a new CBA and this man could have got triple that. And it's just like damn, man. And then like it's just like you said, this man started like demanding trades and wanting to get out of here, and it wasn't good for the Bulls at a certain point in time. It really wasn't.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know, but it was slipped in there by the Bulls owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. I can't pronounce his last name right, but when Michael left it after the 1993 season to go play baseball for the White Sox, he continued to pay Michael's NBA contract. And then he's going to offer someone like Scottie Pippen dirt money like that. I don't know, man. It's just
obviously he cared more about Michael Jordan than ever he did with Scottie Pippen, and Scottie Pippen was a huge part of the Bulls and the reason they won championships, man. It wasn't just because of Michael Jordan, man. I mean, yeah, it was, but in all reality, it really wasn't though. You win a basketball is a team sport, man. You need five. 100%. You need 5 guys on the court to win the game, man. And they had a lot. They had amazing 5 good guys. I mean, if you want to talk about one of their guys that comes in, and another guy, Dennis Rodman, man, that dude just he comes in. Dude, love that. I love that dude's hair, man. The dude hair was dude every time, bro. It was just every time you see a different hairstyle, and it was just like the attitude, the swagger, man. That dude was just honestly probably one of my. I don't know. I loved him, man. I loved him. Honestly, like the things that you get watch back and you see the things that he did and stuff, man. He was an icon in the NBA, man. He really was.
He was NBA All First Team Defense 7 times. That's a pretty big feat right there. NBA Defensive Player of the Year twice. Okay, he led the NBA in rebounds for a record consecutive 7 seasons. That's almost an entire decade. He was the best rebounder in the entire NBA. That's something else, man. That's getting the ball when it's out there for grabs, you know?
Yeah, dude. Honestly, bro. Like, the one thing, bro, is the rebounding thing, man. He literally had, he had the rebounding thing. He literally had rebounded his average 15.3 per game was like his average per season, and also this man literally had the rebounding crown. He won it by 4 or more rebounds. Like, bro, that's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. When he wins by 4 or more rebounds. Like, what? That's crazy.
Not like 4, like counted number, like averaging.
Yeah, averaging 4 or more. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Big. Yeah, that's pretty big.
That's crazy, bro.
Definitely. Dennis Rodman was a character for sure, all the way up to frigging North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, who he's good friends with and loves to spend time with.
Yeah, honestly, crazy. It's honestly crazy, man. Yeah, like I don't know why that's crazy. That they sees the Kim Jong Un thing, and like he goes there, and I mean that's definitely a little weird, but I mean I don't know. I mean, let him do his thing, I guess. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I thought the coolest part of that episode 3 was when they talked about Dennis Rodman's vacation when he
Yeah,
asked for 48 hours
to Vega,
from Phil
yeah,
Jackson,
yeah,
and he ended up being gone for 88 hours. He went to Vegas, partied his ass off, got drunk, did drugs, did everything,
yeah,
and his Bulls teammates had to go and get him from out of a bed in a Vegas hotel
yeah.
and bring him back to practice.
With his
And
girlfriend.
they showed the video footage. He's in his pajama pants coming into the Bulls facility, and they're mocking him at practice, laughing at him
Yeah,
because
but
he's all hung
didn't
over.
they that day they did Indians, and every time that Rodman would get at the end of the thing, they'd have they'd Michael Jordan would just run as fast as he could, and then it would take him. Literally they literally said in the thing that it took him 4 laps to catch up to Jordan.
That's terrible.
Like, dude, this man was was not out of shape, bro, and they got him into shape real fast because they started to win right away. Honestly, after like they say the old good old cigar with between Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman that sealed the deal of them starting to win again, and bring the championship back to the Bulls.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was a fan of those big old cigars. He's
Yeah.
smoking a lot of cigars in the documentary.
Yeah, but it's his thing, man. I mean, that was his thing back in the day,
I
smoking
guess
cigars and
so.
doing. I mean, I mean, what's? I don't think anything. I don't see anything wrong with it.
I guess not. Whatever.
I mean, hey,
The man won 6 championships. Smoke all the cigars you want,
I
Michael
probably
Jordan.
smoked like 200 more cigars, like.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But no, it's
Uh,
definitely crazy, man. It's definitely crazy. What are we up? This is what episode, kind of
episode
recapping.
4 now.
Yeah, we're on episode 4 here.
Go ahead, start us off here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is the part where they like you said, this is where they're bringing the Rodman back to the from the Vegas trip, and it's just honestly crazy, bro. This is where they start, talking about what Phil Jackson was doing, and how where he came from and stuff like that. And honestly, bro, it's kind of crazy the things that he did to get to the positions that he was in. Started off as a player with the Knicks, so always wanted to win a championship there. I mean, I don't think he would ever do it as a coach, but he won a championship as a player, huge thing. And he wanted to do the double thing, and it never really worked out for him. But he comes to coaching in a I don't some league that was with coaching in the Puerto Rico league, and then he goes and coaches in this like Patrons league and wins the championship for the CBA. I don't really know. I never really heard of that.
That team was in Albany, right?
Yeah. And then right after that he goes and goes the assistant coach, and then you
At
could
the
tell the rest
Bulls.
from there. It's crazy, man. It's honestly crazy that they he gets his opportunity finally and shows what he really can do, and it's honestly amazing.
Yeah, Phil Jackson is definitely a character. They talked about him doing LSDs,
Yeah.
smoking weed. He almost had a hippie type personality, which I can kind of see from him a little bit. You know, he's got that Bob Ross kind of look to him. But yeah, no, he's definitely not your ethical type of person. He showed up to his first coaching interview for the Bulls in a plaid shirt and ripped jeans. He was not hired that time as the Bulls. He was hired 2 years later when he showed up for another interview, dressed appropriately, of course. And at that point in time, he was hired as the Bulls coach. Um, but yeah, he's definitely a character, man. Huge background in basketball. He's a basketball savant. The man loves the sport, and I just feel like he was definitely born
Born
to
to
coach.
coach. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go, right there. Yeah. I do think he was, man. I really do think he was. I mean, like you said, he started off playing. He probably had the IQ. He just knew what he was doing. And then, like I said, they finally give him a chance at the Bulls, and he showed him what they can do. And look what he's done. I mean,
yeah,
he's amazing coach. Amazing coach.
yeah.
What he's done with the even he's still coaching now. Or no, he's front office.
Executive.
Front office. Yeah, and I figured that was probably going to be his next step. You
Yep,
don't coach for.
absolutely.
I mean, coaching eventually does get old, and you do your things that you are doing. Do get washed out eventually, and then that's why there's always new and upcoming coaches all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And Phil Jackson is, this documentary is about the Chicago Bulls, but he also, he showed he wasn't just the coach who coached Michael Jordan, because then he won 5 championships with the Lakers and Kobe and Shaq. And you don't just win like that because you have Michael Jordan. You win like that because you have the DNA and the right ideas and something called the triangle offense, which is the crazy uh way that the Chicago Bulls ran their team.
Yeah, well,
Triangle
actually,
offense.
what they don't, what you, I did read about that. They said the triangle offense is that's one of the reasons that they actually hired assistant Phil Jackson as the assistant coach was because he wanted to was the only person that would actually try that offense.
The coach before him uh, would put down and tell the other assistant coaches who suggested the triangle offense to him, and told them, I don't run that. My team doesn't run that. Stop trying to get me to run that. And look where it took him. You know, the triangle offense is crazy. It's the same offense he ran with the Lakers too, with Kobe and Shaq, and it led them to 5 championships. So it's really, he's something else, Phil Jackson, and that episode what really was great about him because it really showed his true personality.
Exactly, in his true colors, man. And it's just honestly like in that episode it shows him in the '91 season, winning the finals and finally beating Detroit with a sweep.
Yep.
That's the best part about it, man. They finally beat Detroit. They get that sweep, and that's amazing, man. I mean, I don't think anybody thought they were gonna sweep them though, but it happened.
Nope. Well, talking about Detroit, I guess, just get right into what episode 6 is about. Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas was a huge, huge part of Michael Jordan's career. He was essentially his first rival, and Isaiah Thomas was the person who propelled Michael Jordan to become who he was. And Isaiah Thomas, of course, he's not. The Detroit Pistons were not Isaiah Thomas. They were a whole team and made up of Bill Laimbeer, Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, and all those guys. They were a mean group of guys, and they beat up Michael Jordan, and they beat him up bad. And when the Bulls were, you know, their offense was ran through Michael Jordan. It was Michael 50 points a game, Michael 40 points a game,
Yeah.
Michael this, Michael that. And then he would get to the Pistons and he would get beat down. He would lose to them and only be able to win one game and get stomped out so hard. And it encouraged him and pushed him to
Work
become
out.
stronger
Yep.
and be able to take the beating and get to the foul line and do what he needs to show these guys, you whacking on me doesn't do anything anymore. I'm here to win. And the tougher the Bulls showed the Pistons they were, the weaker the Pistons got. And I just thought that episode was really good about how it just showed Isaiah Thomas, not only Isaiah Thomas on the Pistons, but Isaiah Thomas's role, I guess, not role with the 92 Dream Team and the way him and Michael's relationship played into it. Because when in 91, like you said, when the Bulls finally did beat the Pistons notoriously walked off the court without even shaking the Bulls' hands or, like,
So
saying good series.
unsportsmanlike, man. I read that and I was just like, dude, how do you like let these players just walk off the court? Like even like a coach or anybody just comes up and says, "Hey guys, like, what are you guys doing? This is not like that." That honestly was probably the most unsportsmanlike thing I've ever seen and ever read about or anything. Like it's just like, how do you even
Well,
like let that happen, man?
well, Bill Laimbeer went right up into the ear of Isaiah Thomas and said, we're gonna walk right off the court on him," and they just did it. And Isaiah Thomas said in the documentary that it goes back to when they played the Celtics in the 80s and Larry Bird and those guys on the Celtics walked off the court when the Pistons beat them. Isaiah Thomas said that's just what you do is when you back then when you lost is that's how that's how you took it. I don't know. I couldn't really understand it because I thought it was chump and I thought it was disrespectful because the 2 years before when they beat down Michael and sent him home packing, he stood there and shook all the players on the Pistons' hands and wished them luck in the NBA
Yeah,
Finals.
because Michael
I
had
just
sportsmanship, man, and that's true. And I just want to, bring it out here real quick. I just want to say that we are the Mike and Brian show here. We are live every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Uh, this is Brian. I'm Brian, or well, I'm Mike. This is Brian. We talk sports, Bills. We talk all sports, everything here, man. So you come see us every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here for you guys. But yeah, man, honestly, it's crazy that like the things that like Jordan had to go through and just all the things that he overcomes and all these and then he just shows the true person he is because he won championships and he has a sportsmanship and he's not gonna just walk yeah he like I said, man, he's just a great sports person and I'm just glad that we were able to witness something like that in this great documentary that that he did let us
yeah.
eventually see and everything like that. And then going into episode 7 and 8, man, the last two episodes before the final episode tomorrow, which I think a lot of people are really excited about that, man. Like it's probably gonna be. I think it's gonna be a little bit of a sad ending because this is where we start seeing his true demise and his true downfall, man. In this episode and the next two, man,
Yeah.
it's kind of sad, man. You know, you see the main thing about it, is his dad passes away, man. That's a huge part of that, man. Like his dad, unfortunately does pass away in the '93 season, and it's unfortunate for him. He it's tough, man, because it's tough to talk about. Because honestly, if that ever happened, man, it'd be a sad time in my life, and I just couldn't even imagine, how he was feeling and reacting, and finally, winning championships, and just he kept going through. It's just crazy, man. I can't even talk about it because it's just like so upsetting, man. It's just like really like
His father's death was a lot of the reason why he went and played baseball. Um, his father always wanted him to be a baseball player growing up. His father seen him being a baseball player. And in 1993, when Michael won the first three-peat, you know, it was something that he wanted. Larry and Magic never did it, never won three championships in a row. Um, and he wanted that to be the last basketball game his father ever seen him play. Well, it ended up being the last game his father ever seen him play, and that's the way he wanted it to be. So that's why he took up baseball. And there's a lot of speculation. As people know from watching the documentary, Michael Jordan, all throughout his career, huge gambler.
yep.
He would always in the locker room, before the games, before the press conferences, even if it was something as simple as who could throw the quarter closest to a line on the wall. He was putting money up on it, and he was putting dollars down, and he was a huge bettor. He betted on his golf game. He bet on everything.
Yeah, but the problem with that is you get into gambling, and then that was another huge part of his demise, man. He starts getting gambling, and a lot of people do say, and I know they just don't say in the documentary, but I mean a lot of people do say that part of his dad's death might have been the money that he owed to people from his gambling problem.
They do. He does say in the documentary, there is no chance that my father's death is related to my gambling and what goes on with my gambling. But of course, that's probably what he's going to say in front of the camera, and it's probably a very touchy subject for the man. I'm sure he never wanted his gambling to go that far if that's what did happen. But it, I remember it wasn't during the show or anything. It was just a conversation me and you had off air or whatever. And I had said to you, watching this, I had got through episode 5 and 6, and this was right before episode 7 and 8. I had said to you, man, I don't know if I would be a Michael Jordan fan growing up. Uh, this guy's really a jerk. He's a jerk to his teammates. He's a jerk to the media. He's really an ass, and he is like that. And at the end of episode 7, Michael Jordan gives like a little like minute 30 little kind of speech because the producer asks him a question. He goes, same thing I just said. He says, "What do you say to people who say your competitiveness makes you out to not be a nice guy. And he says something along the lines of, you didn't win anything, did you? I had to be the guy in everyone's ass. If I had to push you, so what? So be it. I wanted to see you be a winner. I wanted you to have everything that I had. And that's all I ever wanted. And he gets emotional when he's saying this little spiel. And I don't know. I know it's silly or whatever to say that some little sentence or something he said changed my whole mind, but the way he looks at it from a competitive standpoint, he's just a winner, man. And he just wanted his guys and himself to be on top. And he would do nothing and let nothing stop him to be a winner. And I kind of admire that about him. And I feel like that's what a lot of people admire about him. But as far as the way he treats people and the way all this is shown from behind the scenes,
It's not how it
I
really
don't.
is. He's a completely
Yeah.
different person, man, and a lot of people didn't see that, but at the same time, yeah, it this documentary kind of did show me like who Jordan really is, and like you said, would I be a fan of him? I probably would because he was one of the best basketball players
I don't
of all
know.
time.
We'd
And
like to know from you guys. Do you think you guys would have had Michael Jordan posters hanging up in your room? Drop it in the comments. Let
yeah,
us know. Do you have Michael Jordan posters in your room?
I
Maybe
do,
you do.
I do.
Maybe you do like Michael Jordan. I know I like Michael Jordan. When I watched Space Jam, that movie was awesome. I was a little kid and I gravitated to the movie and I gravitated to Michael Jordan because he was the guy in the movie and I wanted to be like him. But of course, as you get older and your eyes are opened up to more things and you learn more,
And
and
you realize, yep, yep, yep,
yeah,
yep, yep. No, I got you,
not
100%.
everyone's roses and sunshine, but that's what it takes to be a winner, and that's just a little bit of what he had to say at the end of episode 7, and I thought that was really freaking cool. Like,
No,
really cool.
yeah. I mean, honestly, man, 7 and 8 were honestly two great episodes, man. And I do think there was a lot of things in there. Like I said, they just showed a lot of great moments, a lot of good interviews, and just a lot of stuff. Like I said, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with the next episode, 2 episodes coming up. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see what happens. But
It's going to be
honestly,
cool the way they kept
yeah,
it off.
yeah, let's see that. But honestly, it's bringing into the UFC, man. UFC tonight, man. That's two big card tonight. We got couple fights that people are probably have been waiting for, and they've been already booked for a while. They just got postponed and everything like that. I mean, if let's start from the bottom, man. What you have I'm just doing the main card. So the main card.
Go ahead, read it off to me. I didn't jot them down, but I can pull it up here in front of me.
Okay, so what I have for the UFC for the card, I got Say Young and Marlon Vera for the featherweight. It's just featherweight bouts, 3 round bout. I mean, honestly, bro, they both have pretty decent records. If you look at their records, they're both pretty decent. But I'm gonna take Sing Yodong for I'm gonna take him by decision. I think it's gonna go three
Okay.
rounds. Yeah, I think it's a even fight, bro. They both have good records. It's gonna be a pretty even bout.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
And who do you have for that one, bud?
I don't know either one of the fighters. Hang on one second. I'm pulling up the card
No, take your time, pull it on
right
up.
now. But they're just calling it UFC Fight Night, right?
Yeah, it's fight night 176.
Fight Night 176. Okay. There we go. That's why I wasn't pulling up the right thing. I was like reading the cards. I'm like, this is not the card he's talking about right now.
All right, and then that one honestly, it's gonna be a pretty good fight, man. It's gonna be one of the probably, it honestly, it could be the fight of the night, dude. You never know, honestly. And then if you go to the second fight, you got Edric Andrews and some Kajavak Joko. It's I mean, like I said, if you look at those guys' records, they're pretty close to each other. I have Joko winning that one. That's a middleweight fight. But I mean, honestly, that's another good fight, man.
Okay. Okay. I like that.
Who do you got? Who do you got? Do you want to make a prediction for that
I
one?
I like Najoko in that one.
All right, and this is honestly a fight that I like. I like the guy in this. Edison Barboza and Don Edge. I've liked Barboza a lot. I mean, probably not a lot of people know who he is. He's a very good fighter. I'm gonna take him in the win against that and that win as well in that one. I think he's gonna take that win.
Okay. So you said Barbosa.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with you on that.
All right, and then you got the women. You got the women's strawweight fight. I mean, I don't know much about the women's fighters, but I'll tell you what, women's fights are one of the better fights in UFC, and a lot of people, don't watch them. They go out and do whatever and come back for the main event. This is
Yeah.
gonna be a fight that you're gonna want to see. That these girls can throw hands, but I'm gonna take Claudia in the win in that one.
Okay, Claudia Galdi.
Yep.
I'll take Angela Hill then. I'll take the underdog because I know she's already fought 3 times here in 2020, so she's getting her stuff together. She's trying to put together the resume, to get up there and get a big name fight. I'd like to see her jump into maybe the top 15 rankings if she can pull out the win tonight.
Yeah, that would
That'd
definitely
be cool
happen
to
to her.
see.
That would happen to her for sure.
Yeah,
Then you got the fight of the night, man. You got the main event. You got the Alistair Overeem
Alistar.
and Willett Harris. I mean, honestly,
Yep.
bro, I on my sheet here, I have Overeem winning here. But like I said, this Will Harris guy, I don't know much about him, but I was looking at his stats and everything, bro. I mean, he compares him. He's got the size, he's got the reach, he's got everything, that you need
He's a
to be.
good
Yeah,
knockout fighter.
exactly. He's the one of the guys that might be able to beat Overstream, but dude, this dude is just like a beast, bro. I've watched.
Oversteen's been in
Yeah,
the UFC for a long time,
yeah,
so
he's a veteran.
yeah, he
He
definitely has
knows.
the veteran savviness, and he knows how to stay in a fight, 5 round fight. So it'll be good. It'll be
No,
really good. I
that's
think.
gonna be a fight that I know, and it's free, guys. It's free. It's on
By the way,
ESPN.
yep, ESPN Plus, ESPN. Tune in. I believe at 7:30 the prelims
No,
already
7 o'clock.
started.
It's 7 o'clock. Is yeah, 7:30 is prelims. 9 o'clock the main event.
Yep. So the main card will start at 9 o'clock. Like I said, ESPN. Tune in. Live sports. I mean, it won't be your usual thing. You won't see superstar actors in the seats around the cage and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what,
You hear the
gonna be good.
punches.
Yeah, it's a whole different, it's a whole different angle and aspect of the game. You hear the fight within the fight going on in the cage. As much as you do hear Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier commentating it, you're gonna hear the fighters
Yo, the
grunts.
fighters hear them, bro. They were talking about that. The fighters were doing
I know, I've
interviews, and
heard that.
they were talking about how that kind of like unfocuses them and makes them kind of listen to them and stuff. So it's definitely different, man. Definitely like you
Yeah,
said, it's
I
different
heard the one
times,
dude
different
said he didn't
atmosphere, and
want to do
everything.
things.
It's
I heard the
different.
one dude say he didn't want to do things because he heard Joe Rogan talking about it. Like he changed his total uh approach to the fight when when he heard Joe Rogan talking about him behind him. So I mean, I personally, they just got to tone it out. They got to zone in and they got to focus on what they're there for. They're there to fight the man on the other side of the cage and win that fight no matter what. And
All
that's
right,
what they
so
got
let's
to
get
focus
into
on.
our last topic of the day, man. NFL power rankings, man. And we haven't really talked about the NFL today, but we're gonna give you little guys a little bit of NFL. We both, did our own power rankings, and
Dabble a little bit.
we're gonna run up through them. We're gonna go from top to bottom. We're gonna go from 32 all the way up.
All right, I like the sound of that. So why don't you just do like 4 in a row, like up to 32 to
All
29,
right, I'll do
and then
4. All right, I'm gonna make sure the numbers. All right, I'm just gonna make an X on the numbers. Okay, so for 32, the worst team in the league that I think power ranking number 32, I have the Redskins.
I also have the Redskins, so I'm gonna agree with that, buddy. I don't
Okay.
think they have
How
the
about this?
shape.
We'll just go one after another. So for 31, I got the Jags.
Okay, I do not have the Jags at 31. I have the Giants at 31.
The Giants at 31.
Yes, I have the Giants at 31. I do not think their defense is anything to put out on the field, and I don't want to say Daniel Jones takes a step back, but I just don't think he's got weapons other than Saquon Barkley. So,
Okay.
yep,
All right.
Giants
So for
going
number
in at
30,
31.
30, I got the Lions.
I also have the Lions, so
All right.
that
So
works.
there you go. That's right there.
All right, 29. That's where I have the Jaguars.
Okay. I have the Dolphins at 29. I know it's probably a little weird. People are probably thinking. I just don't think that they have.
Okay.
Their defense is good, dude, but it's like, bro, their offense, like, it's just. I don't think they have the weapons to score points and beat teams. I really don't.
To be honest, I don't have the Dolphins as low as you, but my personal point, I wrote one little note about the Dolphins. No Tua. I don't think Tua will play this year. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick sees the field for as long as possible. And that's just how I feel about the situation. You got to think, too, they also have a guy named Josh Rosen still on that roster, waiting for his time to play a little bit. And maybe, who knows, if Fitz doesn't do so well, maybe they want to try and get rid of Josh Rosen and get what they can for him and put him on the field and show other teams what he can still do. So look for Josh Rosen to step in for Miami long before Tua Tagovailoa does.
I 100% agree with you that. And then number 28, I got the Broncos.
28, I have the Jets.
Okay, and then right after that, I got 27. I got the Jets at 27. I put them a little higher than the other, but just one spot.
We just flip flopped there. I have the Broncos.
All right.
27.
And then at number 26, I have we're just doing these. We're gonna talk more about the ones in the top 15 and stuff like that. Why we put them there and stuff like that. 26, I have the Panthers.
26, I have the Dolphins. That's where my Dolphins fell.
Okay, okay. And then 25, I got the Bears.
25, I have the Chargers.
Okay, I have the Chargers a little higher up there. I have the Browns at 24.
At 24, I have the Bears.
Okay, I have the Giants at 23. Like I told you earlier, I think they're gonna make a little more progress than you think. I mean, yeah, their defense not good. I just think their offense and Saquon Barkley, man, you can't. I mean, that's just. I mean, you really can't.
Okay.
So I mean, 21 or 22.
Wait.
Yep.
I gotta get 23.
23. Go ahead.
23, I have Las Vegas.
Raiders. Okay. I have them a little higher up there. The 22, I got the Bengals. Probably a little surprising people. People probably think they're going to be the worst. Maybe in the bottom. I just think they're going to have a good year. Joe Burrow. They have the weapons. I think AJ Green comes back. Like I don't know, man. I think they're going to have a good year.
22, I have the Carolina Panthers.
Okay. And at 21, I have the Chargers.
At 21, I have the Atlanta Falcons.
The Falcons. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And at 20, I got the Cardinals coming in at 20.
I put Cleveland at 20.
Okay. And at 19, I have the Raiders.
19, I have the Patriots.
Okay. You put them down that low. Okay, you have them kind of out of the playoffs, if technically in the rankings. Honestly, if you think about it. Did you mute your mic? You muted your mic. Oh, okay, I thought you were talking. Okay, hold on. And then the Falcons at 18.
18, I have the Cardinals.
Okay. The Rams at 17.
At 17, I have the Texans.
All right, we're getting up here. We're getting okay. So this is
we'll slow down at 15.
Yeah, well, 15. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna break you down this one. 16. The reason I put the Pats up there, I just think the coaching and Belichick and everything, just because I just think they're not gonna fall as much as people do think. I think that coaching is a huge part of that team, and I really do believe that they are going to, show us what they're still a high caliber team with their defense and everything like that.
Okay. At 16, I have the LA Rams.
Okay. And then at 15, I have the Colts. So we'll both explain a little bit of why we have the Colts. I have the Colts at 15. I think that they're going to make a little more step forward. They did excellent in the free agency, and then they just knocked it out of the park in the draft. They seriously did, man. Like their offseason was amazing. Yeah. I just think they're going to have a good year. I mean, and they get their quarterback that they've been wanting for a while. Like, I mean, hey, man.
At 15, I have the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow, and let's hear that, Brian. Give me the reason why you have the Cincinnati Bengals at 15. Well, that's a surprising one up there, bud.
His name starts with Joe and ends with Burrow. Joe Burrow. That's why. They upgraded the quarterback position, the number one position. Joe Burrow is going to come in there, and he's going to be a leader for that team, and he's going to change that franchise and turn it around for them. They got great players like Joe Mixon. They drafted T. Higgins. They got AJ Green still. He obviously wanted to stay in Cincinnati for some reason. A young coach like Zach Taylor. Big things for Cincinnati, man. I got high hopes for them this year. Watch out.
Wow. Okay. And then at 14, I got the Steelers. I mean, I don't really. I'm not gonna. We don't have to really explain that one. We all know the Steelers. They got coaching. They got Big Ben. They got all those pieces. So. Yeah. Okay, so that's 13. I got the Texans. I mean, you're probably a little surprised at that. I mean, I know you seen when I told you that earlier when I was giving you my little thing. I was like, you don't think about it. Hey, man.
You want to know my reason why I put the Texans at 17?
Yep.
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. I agree with you on that, but not the same reason, bro. They have the quarterback that, showed us what he could do in the playoffs and beat the Bills, and that's one reason I will put him up in the top there. I mean, I don't think they really improved this year. I think they decreased and got worse, so.
Okay. At 13, I have Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So obviously we all know what Tampa Bay did this offseason.
They got Tom Brady, so he
and Rob Gronkowski.
Yep.
But I do think they are still gonna struggle South.
I think they're gonna struggle in the beginning of the year, and they're gonna come back and like Brady does always, and just go on a run.
Okay.
10-game. I think they're gonna go on like a 9-10 game run.
Okay. Who you got at 12?
I got the Eagles.
I also have the Eagles at 12. Wow. Some
see?
of these are matching up well.
Okay, then I got the Buccaneers at 11.
Oh, I got the Minnesota Vikings at 11.
Yeah. I think the Bucks are a little bit better team than you have them there. I think the Brady, definitely gives them, and they got a great coach, man. They got a great coach, and I think he's gonna do big things for that team and that organization. Okay. And then I would say at 10, I got. Did you say you're 11, right? Would you have at 11?
Yeah. Minnesota.
Okay.
I said it already.
All right, and then I had the Cowboys at 10.
I have the Colts at 10. Like you said about the Colts before. Amazing draft. Outstanding draft. Just like the Bills. Their first-round draft pick was DeForest Buckner. We talked about that a lot in the first show. I really like everything the Colts are doing right now. Philip Rivers going for a last run, trying to ride off in the sunset. Frank Reich, great coach. I just feel like they deserve that top 10 spot, man. I don't know. I had to get them in there.
All right, and then I have the Vikings at 9.
Okay, I have the Tennessee Titans at 9.
Okay, and then well, if you're talking about that, I have the Tennessee Titans at 8. So let's just talk about that. Why do you have? I mean, Why do you have? Yeah, I want to know a little more. Why? So the Colts, you really have the Colts all the way up in the top 10, man. That's really interesting, man.
Yeah, like I said, I think the Colts are. I mean, not just because Frank Reich was quarterback in Buffalo. I just feel like the Colts are like a close representative to what the Bills organization is. Strong coach. The coach almost is the process and everything that is behind the team, and then the GM and the management do management things, and they don't try to run the football team on the football field. They just do things behind the scenes, and I just feel Frank Reich is an outstanding coach. He was doing great things with Andrew Luck stepping out at last minute.
And it had Joe. Yeah, I agree. Okay.
And now he's got a veteran like Philip Rivers coming in, and he's got time to work with him. And I don't know. I feel like they're gonna be good, destined for good things. I have them winning the AFC South this year.
And I could see that happen. I could definitely see that happening for sure. And okay, I mean, like I said, I have the Titans up. I have the Titans up so high, man. I just think that they just consistently have good coaching. They haven't really lost anybody. They re-signed all their players they need to sign. I just think it's going to be another good year for them, man. I really do think they're going to be up there really high.
The reason why I put the Titans at 9 and the team above them that I did is solely because of their quarterback.
Okay.
Ryan Tannehill still gives me questions. I know he had a great season last year, but I want to see him consistently put it together.
Okay.
So
and then I 7. 8. Let's hear it. No, wait. You have 8. Yeah, 8 for you.
I have the Green Bay Packers coming in at 8.
Ooh. Okay.
With Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Well, I have the Packers at 7.
7. Okay. I have the Dallas Cowboys at 7.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then after that, I have at 6. I have the Seahawks.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. Where'd you get at 6?
I have the Bills at 6.
Oh!
Don't hate me, viewers. I have them at 6. Yes, the Bills are 6 on my power ranked.
Guys, are you ready for this, though? Look at this. Bills at number 5, baby! Top 5, baby! Top 5!
I need Josh Allen to show me this year. He's got the weapons. Let's see it.
Let's see it, baby. Let's see it. All right, let's just run up through the last of it.
My 6 and 5 are flipped, just like yours. I have Seattle at 5 and Bills at 6.
Okay, and then at 4, who do you have at 4?
The 49ers.
Okay, and I have the Saints at 4.
You dirtball. Okay.
All right, and then at 3,
Let me ask you, why do you have the Saints at 4?
I just think the 49ers are a better team than the Saints, and I think that Kansas City is a better team than the Saints, and I think the Ravens are a better team than the Saints. They just fall out of it.
Okay.
There's
So
my
then I'm guessing your number 3 team is
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Okay. I have Baltimore as my number 3 team.
Okay, and then as my number 2 team, I have the 49ers. I was almost put them as my number 1, but yeah, my number 1 team is the Baltimore Ravens.
My number 2 team is the Saints.
Okay.
And my number 1 team is the Chiefs. Super
Okay.
Bowl champions.
Super Bowl champions. I just didn't think I could put the Chiefs. Like I said, I just personally think that the off seasons of the 2 teams, the 49ers and the Ravens, were better than the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs didn't really add much. I think they just added players from that they had to sign. They didn't have a lot of cap room. I think these other teams, really made the just did a better job with the money that they had, and just they found guys that teams that really couldn't find, stuff like that. And I'm telling you, man, that Ravens team, that they're I mean, I think the Bills can beat them, but they're going to be tough. They're going to be a tough team.
The Bills played them for their money last year, man.
Yeah.
That game was awesome.
Yeah, we should have won that game at the end of the game, but we dropped the pass.
I just want to say the reason why I do have the Ravens in at 3 is it just always happens. Everyone shows it. It happened for Mahomes. It happens for every MVP. I don't see him putting up the numbers that he put up last year. I just can't see it happening. If he does do better or the same, I'll clap it up for the guy.
Yeah, right.
But I don't think he's going to, and I think he will take some step back. Now, obviously, not a lot of steps back. I got his team ranked number 3 in the power rankings, but I don't think Lamar Jackson is your MVP next year. That's for sure.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, that's honestly our show for today, guys. We're gonna be wrapping it up with that. We appreciate everybody that stopped by today. Like I said, next week Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right
Thanks
here.
For tuning in, everyone.
Yeah.
Just want to thank everyone for coming in. Smash that like button. Smash that share button. Give us a follow. I am Brian. He is Mike. This is the Mike and Brian Show, and we'll be back with you next Saturday. Thanks so much, guys.
And
take care.
Guys, one other thing. Next Saturday, we will have the surprise that we said last week. That it will be here. We got a surprise from the beginning. So be in the beginning of the episode if you want to see the surprise. It's in the beginning.
Tune in at 7.
Tune in right at 7, or you're going to miss it.
Tune in, baby.
And we're going to post about it on the page to remind you guys to tune in at 7 for the surprise.
Everyone stay safe out there. Love your family and friends. Stay at home.
All right, guys. Have a good one. We appreciate everybody that stopped by.
Have a good one, everyone.
That's the end of the stream, the Mike and Brian Show. Have a good one, guys.